Okay. You know, I have a feeling that I might get a little bit of flack for this one, so let's just get right into it. I am not very excited for Ghost of Tsushima. And I wanted to be. I remember seeing the reveal trailer back in 2017, and it looked really cool. It had samurais, an epic historical tale, beautiful environments. Holy hell, look at this frickin' pagoda thing. It looks great. And best of all, that's right, Sucker Punch is back. It's not Infamous 3, which is, you know, what I was hoping they were making this whole time, but hey, Sucker Punch made two of my all-time favorite games, and, you know, then a couple of okay ones, and before that they made, I don't know, some games about a raccoon or something. That's not him. Point is, I was excited, but you know me, I'm a gameplay guy. Story, characters, graphics, all that stuff is definitely important, but how does the game actually play? I could not wait to find out, and when I did, well, is this it? This is Ghost of Tsushima. This is what the people who made Infamous decided to do next. Okay, look, the game isn't out, and obviously this is going to be almost entirely speculation, but let's go through this demo and see what we can piece together about Ghost of Tsushima. Please, please do not take this as me whining about a new game before it's even out. What this really is me being concerned about a game by a studio that I genuinely love. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, credit where it's due, this demo nails the visuals. This sweeping vista in the opening is one of the most gorgeous things I've seen in a video game, and everyone in the comments section seems to agree. In fact, it's basically all they're talking about. Yeah, the visuals are definitely overshadowing everything else about this game, at least in the pre-release hype. To me, this is pretty indicative of a larger trend in gaming that I'm pretty sick of, but we can get to that later. The point is, this demo makes a pretty good first impression, but things go downhill fast for me. The problems really begin to appear when combat starts. Now, does it look flashy and crisp? Sure, I guess, but let's take a step back and try to see what's actually happening here. As someone who's played, you know, a decent bit of video games, let me tell you what I see here. I see you holding R2 to block, hitting square, square, square to attack, and then hitting circle or X to dodge. Maybe he hit triangle to thrust there, but honestly, I doubt it. Is this really the next evolution of samurai swordplay? Or is this Assassin's Creed 1? Or even better, is this Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time? A game that, need I remind you, is like 20 years old. Gameplay like this doesn't really impress anymore. It looks outdated and shallow. Now, of course, this is just a demo. Plenty of things are definitely subject to change, but let's be honest, how often do games actually improve in comparison to the E3 footage? How quickly we seem to forget about games like Watch Dogs, which had a fantastic gameplay trailer at E3 2012, which it turns out might as well have been an episode of Mr. Robot for how representative it was of the final game. If you honestly think that Ghost of Tsushima is going to look this smooth when it comes out, well, I've got a bridge to sell you. It'll only be $100 for the deluxe edition of the bridge with all the DLC, and it might look a little bit jankier and more unpolished than it did in the pictures, but I swear it's made with real steel and not nylon. Get your pre-orders now at your local GameStop. And even if we assume that things can only get better from the E3 trailer, core gameplay like the foundation of the combat system, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it doesn't really seem likely that they would overhaul core gameplay systems like that when so much of the game is already looking this polished. And maybe you don't think it needs to be overhauled. That's fine. I'm not saying everyone needs to have the same tastes as me, but this just looks so boring to me. As beautiful as that fight under the tree at the end of the demo looks, it also looks about as challenging and engaging as N64-era Zelda combat. Majora's Mask was a great game, sure, but if you came looking for deep, interesting combat, you're probably gonna be a little bit disappointed. Maybe not the best example, but For Honor had the bones of an interesting melee weapon dueling system somewhere buried under Ubisoft's usual bullshit. A combination of reacting to different attack angles and anticipating your opponent's movements, and using several combat options to get the mix-up on your enemy, it was actually kind of interesting. For Honor wasn't a great game, but at least it was trying. Ghost of Tsushima here looks to be aping just about every other single-player, third-person melee combat system, from Ocarina of Time all the way down to Assassin's Creed. Not every game needs to reinvent the wheel, but this looks like the most bare-bones combat system you could possibly make for a sword fighting game, and it just does not do anything for me anymore. So yeah, I've got some serious gripes with the combat, but this is an open world game, there's more to it than that, right? So what else have we got? Riding around on a horse, looks fine, feel like you'd have to work pretty hard to screw that up. What else? Pre-animated stealth takedowns, yeah, that's par for the course, nothing really too interesting there. Okay, a grappling hook. Now, this might be interesting. I get the feeling here that they might have purposely left out the button prompt that'll come up when using the grappling hook, probably kind of similar to the one in Uncharted 4. I do hope I'm wrong about that. Optimistically, I'm hoping for a grappling hook system with a little bit more freedom to it, but the fact that he seemed to just press a button and it automatically attached to a pretty optimal spot, that doesn't give me a whole lot of hope for a nice, open, physics-based movement system there. I'm actually fairly confident that there's some button prompts missing from that moment in particular, because it was confirmed in an interview with the animation director that there is in fact a HUD, it just wasn't in this demo. Said it made it more, cinematic. I mean, I guess, but I think the question I'm asking is looking cinematic really something that games need to be aspiring to? Now, that's a pretty big question, probably better for another time, so let's shelve that for now, and just talk about Sucker Punch. Personally, the only reason I care about this game at all is the studio name recognition. That, and I'm curious to see which feudal Japan game with a grappling hook and a fantastic studio behind it will win. Now, something tells me that I'm going to prefer Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, but the general gaming hype machine is going to be all over Ghost of Tsushima. It's got, it's got that kind of serious tone, pretty graphics, mechanically shallow, story-driven game, and that's just all the rage these days. God of War's absurd hype machine and Ghost of Tsushima's search traffic, I think, show that pretty definitively. No, if it wasn't for Sucker Punch, I probably wouldn't be giving this game a second thought, but I'm really genuinely worried now. And not just because I want them to make more Infamous games, I mean, that's a factor, but I also see this game as them falling further into some modern gaming trends that I'm not a big fan of. This focus on graphics and on non-interactive, underwritten stories that take themselves way too seriously, or this obsession people have now about random nonsensical crap that I seriously cannot believe anyone cares about. I know the horse balls thing in Red Dead 2 is basically a meme at this point, but honestly, there is a line where you're just getting diminishing returns on these ridiculous details. It's impressive, sure, but does it make the game any better? Leaves moving with your character, or mud sticking to them. These things are realistic, but realism is not the same thing as immersion, and I think people really get that mixed up. It'd be realistic if I had to press a button to blink my eyes every 5 seconds, but obviously no game is gonna do that because it'd be fucking annoying and immersion ruining. So this idea that realism immediately is more immersive is just complete nonsense. Now, immersion is obviously another huge subject, probably better suited for its own video again, but suffice it to say, stuff like this really does nothing for me. Realistic details and even just beautiful graphics like in this trailer, they're the kind of thing I look at and think, huh, that looks nice, and then once I get into the gameplay, I stop noticing the graphics. I got a lot more satisfaction playing XCOM 2 this year, which objectively looks like total garbage, than I did playing any of this year's graphically impressive hits like God of War, Spider-Man, or Red Dead 2. I see details like this as glorified marketing blurbs. Look, the mud sticks to your character, doesn't that make you want to play the game and see it for yourself? Look how pretty this game is, never mind that the gameplay is outdated and about as deep as a kiddie pool. Don't ask questions, just consume and buy the next thing. I swear it's just going to be a matter of time before I hear how this game really makes you feel like a samurai, which is just the most dull way to praise a game, like, it makes you feel like the thing you're playing as. Ooh. Yeah, soon we're gonna see that. Okay, never mind, we're already seeing it. Jesus, come on. The game's not even out yet, dude. I was kidding. This is all sounding really negative, and I get that, because it is negative. But the thing is, I wanted this to be better. I wanted to be more excited for this, because I expected better of Sucker Punch. Now, I'm not saying this game will be completely without value. Obviously, the game's not out yet. I could be totally wrong. And, of course, there's really nothing about the story in any of these trailers, so it might be the most gripping story ever told. But is a good story a valid excuse for lackluster gameplay? Infamous 1 and 2 were unabashedly gamey games, not afraid to just throw around superpowers, experience points, undisguised platforming sections, and they had great gameplay and good stories. But if I want a dark, gritty samurai story, I'll just go watch a Kurosawa movie. I'm not gonna slog my way through some basic-ass sword combat just to get to the next pretty-looking cutscene. I hope I'm wrong about this. I really, really sincerely do. I'm never one to hope for a game to be bad, but I'm not holding my breath really for Ghost of Tsushima. I have no doubt the general gaming public is going to eat it up because it's serious and cinematic, and they can point to it and say, look, movie critics, our games are serious and artful, take us seriously now, please? It's starting to feel like the gaming community is more interested in being taken seriously, that is, everything being dark and gritty and serious, rather than making games that are fun to play, or just fun experiences, or just good experiences. But maybe that's just me. If you think I'm totally off base here, first of all, I appreciate you hearing me out until the end. Just let me know what you think. I kind of wish this could have been a Smash Bros. Ultimate video because I know that's what's going to be huge right about now, but the fact is I don't have a Switch yet, and I'm just going to keep making videos on stuff that I'm interested in. I'm not really interested in chasing whatever trend is big at the moment. So, more videos to come. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.